Scott, it's always good to look back, of course, and the Airbus victory on Saturday was a convincing one for the New Saints. What are your general thoughts as you reflect on that game?
Yeah, it was pleasing to get a good scoreline, positive sort of reaction from the players as you know they started the game very well, dominated overall, and it's a lot better performance than we've had in previous weeks, so very encouraging. Obviously talked about the 2 goals that we conceded, which we are working at, and we're looking at and looking to make sure that it's somewhere that we're looking to strengthen. We dominate large chunks of the game, and sometimes certain games do become a little bit easy, and little slips are going to happen occasionally. It's just the way it is. If you have 70% possession, 75% possession, and you're a defender that's watching the game go, and you're not having much work, then you get called into work, and then things like that happen. It happens at the top of the game, happens with the top teams, and it's something we need to put right.
We know about the injury situation as we've just come through, the results of course, but TNS still sits in second place in the table.
Yeah, whether the other teams have got games in hand and whatever else is irrelevant. You know, and really when you look at the table in October, it's just nice to be in and around first, second, wherever. It's not important. It's not vital. Because if you look at how many games are left and how many points are left, then we're a large fraction of the season to go. So it's all about building momentum and getting that togetherness and going out to the pitch feeling that you're going to win every game. At times over the last month or so, I felt we've probably started the games too slowly. We've been in positions where we're comfortable in possession but not hurting the opposition enough, and that's been one of our statements that we've made during meetings and things like that we need to become better. We need to be not so much just worrying about how much possession we have, hurting the opposition, really testing them. And I've always said that when other teams hurt us and put us under pressure, flip it round and see how it feels. It's when you're having to deal with balls in behind and crossing into the box, it's very hard to deal with. So, make sure that you're doing that to the opposition as well and making sure that they work for it.
And as we look ahead to our visit to Pen-y-Bont this coming weekend, we've played them once already this season.
Yeah.
That was a close game.
It was a close game, come back from 1-0 behind and 1-2-1. But second half we're a lot better. Chalk and cheese really in terms of performance in the first and second half of that game. And got the victory, and it was another slow start. You can't start games slowly against anybody in our league, because they get, we've seen Carmarthen take a 2-goal lead away from home, and although I always knew we'd come back and win that game, you can't do it every game. We've done it against Newtown in the past where we were 2-0 down and won the game 3-2. You give yourself a mountain to climb. You'd rather be in a 0-0 situation, go in at half time and go out and win the game 1-0 without too much panic. We tend to do it the hard way. I'd rather do it the easy way.
And if TNS is second from the top, Pen-y-Bont at the other end of the table, they're second from the bottom. 1 win in 9 so far this season. TNS will start the game as favourites, but that means that Pen-y-Bont have nothing to lose.
Exactly, whether teams come here and play against us, whether we go there, a lot of them will be thinking that there's not much expectation on them to get the win. They're not supposed to get the win. Sometimes that goes against us because although we shouldn't think like that, we are favourites for the game, but in players' minds the mentality is, oh yeah, this may be an easy game. That's the worst way you can approach it. We'll be staying over Friday, we'll be approaching it the right way, making sure that we do everything this week to prepare the players. So obviously today we're looking at a physical day to make sure that they're in the right frame and fitness wise and mentally, and it's another 3 points. It's only another 3 points, but they've got to be aware of Pen-y-Bont's strengths, because there's certainly strengths in their team.
It was a good result for the New Saints last weekend, but also some good individual performances out there on the pitch.
Yeah.
For you as a manager, is it a case with the players, play well and you keep your place, or will you be looking at Pen-y-Bont as an individual game and you'll pick your team accordingly?
Always look at the team you're playing against and look at if they're a big side, if they're quick, if they play counter-attack, if they play with 3 centre halves, if they congest the midfield, whatever, if they don't play with a striker. You've got to look at the opposition, but I think what you've also got to do is give the players a chance to gain a run of form. Certainly the strikers, if you take Greg Draper, for example, scored 4 goals. Can you take somebody who scored 4 goals in the previous game out of the team? I'd probably say no, because you want your forwards to be going into that pitch feeling confident. The week before they scored 4, I can score 3, 4 again this week. That's the mentality. Players who created the goals, is it fair to take them out of the team? You look at defensively, we let 2 goals in, so you could say that potentially there might be a change defensively, because we've conceded 13, 14 goals now. I'm not sure total, but I think it's not good enough. So I do feel that when you have got players that are in a sort of a purple patch who are keeping other players out, then I don't think it's wise to take them out of the team. I do think that we need to get consistency so that we find a team that is going to go out there and, unless there's injury or suspension, will play week in, week out. But like you said, you've got to look at individuals and be fair to them as well.
And finally, it's 4 days away from the Pen-y-Bont game as we do this press conference. But what is the general availability of players like at this moment in time?
Yeah, we had players doing little extra bits yesterday that didn't play at the weekend or didn't have as many minutes at the weekend, coupled with players that have been injured and are coming back. So I think we'll probably maybe have two missing from the squad for selection, but it's starting to look better on the injury front.